Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where you'll learn how to do a turn in the road, otherwise known as a 3-point turn. I'll also be showing you some funny video clips throughout this video of when I've come across members of the public performing these. Some have got it pretty good, some have done it pretty bad, as you'll see in the videos coming up. Now, first of all, it's commonly known as a 3-point turn, but that name is a bit misleading because you don't have to do it in 3 points. If you don't know what this is, it's when you go forwards, backwards and forwards, so you turn the car around to face the opposite direction. But it can be done in 5 points. This one I'm doing here now may need to be done in 5. It can be done in 3, but it's very, very tight, and you've got to push it really close to the curb to get around in 3 goes. Now I'm going to talk through the official method of doing this as laid out in the DVSA handbook, Essential Skills. That's always the best place to go for a reference if you're not sure, is my instructor saying this correctly, is he doing this correctly? It's a great place to go and check. So before we begin, there are 3 things you need to know about, and there's lots of theory by the way on this. I'm going to be talking for about 5 to 10 minutes on the theory of this, and then we'll be actually going into the practical side of me demonstrating the manoeuvre. 3 things you need to know then. First of all, do you know what the camber is? Well, the camber is the way the road slopes. Now, if ever you've got nothing better to do, try going outside your house, make sure there's no traffic around, and just put your face on the tarmac and just lie on the floor and have a look along the road. And you'll see that it's not actually flat like that. It's kind of curved. It goes up and down at the edges to help with drainage. Now, when you do this manoeuvre, that camber is going to have quite a big effect on the way that you perform the manoeuvre. It might pull you down towards the curb more quickly than you expected. In some roads it can be quite strange, it can actually push you backwards and it seems as though you're actually going back up a hill. But yeah, you'll be seeing that later on. The second thing you need to know about is something called dry steering. Now, what is dry steering? Dry steering is when you steer without the car actually moving, and the reason this isn't so good is it puts quite a bit of pressure on your tyres and your steering linkages, like the way the steering works, the steering mechanism. Now, although you don't want to dry steer, you should always have the car moving when you're steering. It isn't the worst problem to actually have, and I don't think I've ever known it be marked down on a driving test. So although you don't want to dry steer, and I'm not saying that you should, you've got to think of it like this. Imagine if you're about to complete the manoeuvre and you've got a choice between a little bit of dry steering, just turning the wheel when the car's still, or you can pull forwards, avoid dry steering, but the expense of that is that you go smashing at the curb, blow your tyre and crack your alloy wheel, which will cost you at least £300 to replace. So dry steering isn't ideal, but it's much better than smashing your wheel at the curb. That will do more damage to your steering, believe me. Anyway, so the third thing you need to know about is clutch control. Now, I've already spoken extensively about clutch control, so there's a video, if you don't know about YouTube cards, there's a thing on YouTube just come out as I film this video called cards. If you click on the top right of the screen, there's a little eye icon. If you click on that, there'll be other videos that are related to this one that appear on the right. So one of them is my clutch control video. The big question you always get asked on this is, do you have to have the gas and the clutch working together? Now, this is a very long thing to talk about, but quite simply, in this particular vehicle, on this particular road I'm on now, you don't have to have the gas applied. The clutch on its own would be enough to power the car forwards. However, that doesn't work the same in every vehicle and on every road. Imagine if you park on a steep hill, you may well need some gas to get the car moving. So this is a bit of a vague answer, but when you're driving, a lot of things can be quite vague because there are so many things that can change depending on the situation. You apply the gas as and when needed, which sounds like a bit of a cop-out, I know, but it's not. Some vehicles you need it, some you don't. If you're not sure, do it anyway. That will always work in any vehicle. But sometimes the gas is not necessary to pull the car forwards at low speed. Normally, the reason it's bad to move off with your clutch only is, imagine if you're on the main road and you move off with just your clutch. It's going to be quite a slow getaway, quite a slow move off. The cars behind might be accelerating faster than you are, but because we're not going to be moving very fast today, that doesn't really matter so much. So yeah, I could talk for much longer, but I'm going to get some driving done now, and I'll show you how this actually works. So I'm just going to turn on my pedal camera so you can actually see my pedals, and I'll start that recording now. Right, so let's get the car turned on and let's get moving. So I'll check my handbrake, check them in neutral, turn the car on. So I'm going to do now a 3-point turn. I'm going to talk through it as I'm doing it, but there is quite a bit to go over on this. The one thing you should do on this manoeuvre to make it work really well is something you call counter steering. Now, counter steering is a method that not many instructors actually use, but if you look in the official DVSA guide, it does say that you should do this. What counter steering is, it means that when you're getting towards a curb on the opposite side of the road, you should turn your wheel back. So for example, now when I move off, I'm going to turn the wheel right. Just before you reach the curb, I'm going to turn my wheels back to the left as much as I can. It doesn't have to be all the way, but if you can get it turned all the way, great. But remember, you must do that without the car being still, otherwise it's dry steering. Now, the way you judge this can be different in different vehicles, and I don't actually use many reference points. Sometimes people say, for example, go forwards until the curb is underneath the right hand mirror. The problem is it doesn't always work because different widths of road can result in the reference point moving around. So I teach my pupils to do this in different ways, as you'll be seeing in the future when you see me teaching this to pupils on lesson videos. But the way I do it simply is I say, imagine that your feet are the tyres, because your feet are pretty much next to the tyres. So you're trying to get your feet up against the curb. When you come back, your back seats are where the back tyres are roughly. So you're trying to get the back seats level with the curb. You may not see this on the video because I can't have cameras everywhere showing you everything, but I'm going to talk through the best I can to show you myself doing this manoeuvre. So I'll go clutch down into 1. I'll check all around, very important this. Don't forget to check if it's safe to go. Now, the big fault people have on this manoeuvre is they always say, do I need to indicate? Well, the answer is no, because you only indicate if someone will be there to see your indication. If someone is there to see your indication, you shouldn't be doing the manoeuvre. I did have somebody once leave a comment saying that you should be signalling every time you go forward, you should signal right. When you come back, you should signal left, forward, you should signal right. That's stupid, you don't do that. You don't have to indicate right, go forwards, left, go back, right, go forwards. You don't need to indicate at all. For example now, so that man walking behind me, hoping you can see that in there on the camera. If I signal now, I shouldn't be doing a manoeuvre because there's a man in the road. Now that man's gone, or passing the car now he's going, there's no point to signal because you wouldn't see it. So you don't indicate for this manoeuvre. So I'll go clutch down into 1, check all around. Now I'm going to move off. What you've got to do is get the car moving slowly as you turn the wheel very quickly. Don't turn the wheel too slowly. A big problem people have on this is they freeze. A lot of people go turn and then do the feet, then the feet stop, then they turn, then the feet move, then the hands turn. You've got to be able to do your hands and your feet together, and it does take a bit of practice, so don't worry about this, but it does take a while to pick up. This is the easiest of 3 manoeuvres that you may be given at the moment, but it's still not easy to do. So I'll check around, no one around. So I'm down a hill, so I don't actually need to do the pedals just yet. I can just hold the brake down, release the handbrake, and I can slowly come off the brake to slowly roll the car forward. I'm going to turn the wheels right all the way and start to go forward like this, and I'm going to creep towards the curb. So I'll creep, 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 creep. When I get really close to my feet are almost on the curb, I'll turn the wheel fully left. No, so I'm not stopping the car. Clutch down, braking, stop. Handbrake goes on, I look right and I look left, then I go to reverse. I shall explain why in a moment, but I've just got to get out of the way now because I think someone's starting to come down this road. No, so I thought this woman was going to come down here, but she's just walking past. So I'll go backwards, looking at the back of that woman, she's not too close to the car. Then look over my right shoulder now, and I'm halfway back. And I'll turn the wheel right all the way. And I'll check that woman, then I brake. Handbrake on into first gear. I will explain this more in a moment. I'm just doing one to show you the kind of method I use. I go forward slowly, the wheels turn right all the way. Creep, 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 and it gets round in 3. It's very tight on this road. This is an extremely narrow road, and if you can do this in 3, you're doing really well. I like to push pupils when I teach them. I don't like to teach wide roads. I like to do really, really narrow roads. So what I did there was I went forwards towards the curb. Just before I reached the curb, I turned the wheel left all the way. You don't have to, but on this particular road you will struggle to get around your 3 moves if you don't do this counter steering method, if you don't steer the wheel back. It's called counter steering because once you've turned right, you're countering that, you're going against that turning left just before you get to the curb. Again, there's only so much I can show you on a video. I know people might say, well, I can't see what you're doing, I can't see the curb. there's only so many cameras I can buy, and there's only so many things I can actually show you on a video. You do have to try driving. It's a practical skill. You do need to get out there and give it a go. You can't learn it all just from watching videos, but these videos are just to help out, and you know, to show you what you need to do and to give you an idea what to expect when you drive. So anyway, let's try another one. I'll try and do this one a little bit slower and show you. That one, there was a woman walking down the pavement. She just started to step into the road, so I thought I might have to get out of the way quickly, but she actually went back on the pavement, so that was okay. So we're going to one. No one around at the moment, so I'll move off and I'll turn right all the way, very quick steering, no self-steered all the way there, full lock that is, and I'll barely move the car at all. So I'll go forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards. Just the clutch is okay for now. The bus coming from the left, but I go the other way. So I'll creep, roll, I'll now down the camber, so I'll turn left all the way, big turn, 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 then a brake, handbrake on, looking both ways a lot. Now you don't go to reverse straight away, because if you go to reverse, your reverse lights come on, the white lights at the back of the car. And if someone is about to pass you and you go to reverse, they're going to think that you're going to go flying back. So I come back and back and back and back and back, looking over my shoulders. There's no specific one you have to look over, but right shoulder now is good. Quite close to the curb. Handbrake on, looking both ways into first gear. Off I go, finishing off any steering I do now, so I'm not dry steering. Creep, 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 creep. And that one is good. So I'll show you one more, and again I will be doing this more in the future with pupils, so have a look at my video channel on YouTube and you may see there are more videos of me doing this with pupils. So yeah, the thing I want to get across is, don't worry about it, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. Like if you drive steer now like that and people say, oh no, I've failed my test, oh no, I've messed up, you're not going to fail for doing that. If I was on a test now and I did this, I've had people do that because they're nervous and they forget about dry steering. I've never once had a single examiner ever mention anything about dry steering. You don't want to do it, but if you've really got to and you do by mistake, don't panic. People have this thing about, oh, you know, I've got to do my blind spot, blind spot, blind spot, blind spot, blind spot, and people get obsessed with it. I did have an examiner once years ago, I remember, it was quite funny. He said to the people, yes, you've done the blind spot, can you please just get on with it now? Yeah, don't overdo it, don't try and ham it up and make it look really corny. The driving test is quite realistic, and people have this thing about, I mustn't cross my hands on the wheel. If you're doing this manoeuvre and you cross your hands, you shouldn't be marked down. I've never known anyone be marked down, and I think it was the assistant chief driving examiner once said, I don't care if you cross your hands on the wheel, as long as you get the manoeuvre done, it's the result that matters, not how you actually do it. So if you go like that and cross your hands, I had a woman once years ago, she said, oh no, I failed, and she was almost crying on the test saying, I failed, I crossed my hands. And the examiner said at the end, I couldn't really care less if you cross your hands, the manoeuvre was done really well. So don't worry about these little things. The main thing is get the car turned around safely. It does annoy me a bit when people think that this, the driving test is fake and false and like it's all pretend. You do it on your test as you would do it in real life. So let's do another one. Now, how fast should this be done? How long should it take? When you're used to it, there's a hazard in front of you right there, that bloke on his mini bike. When you're used to it, you can do it in 20-30 seconds. So I'm going to do one now, the kind of speed I would normally do it at. You know, I'm not learning now, I'm an instructor, I'm going to do one as I would normally do it. So I'll go to one, look around, steer, go forward, get to the curb, turn left, stop, looking, handbrake, no one around, reverse, gas, clutch, looking. This isn't dangerous, I'm not rushing it, I'm just doing it as I normally do it. So creep, turn, stop, handbrake on if needed, one, look both ways, off you go. So yeah, examiners would rather see you doing that than, messing about, creeping forwards at 1 mile an hour, a minute to get over the road, then back. You don't have to drive slowly on the driving test. Don't do it quickly, don't rush it and go flying forward, smash up the curb, flying back right off your car. But don't be worried about putting a little bit of speed into this manoeuvre. As long as you're doing it safely and you're looking around, your observations are good, that's the main thing. So there you go, that's the turn in the road, otherwise known as a 3-point turn. If I've forgotten any points, kind of wind strong, can you see the wind there rocking the car around? If I have forgotten any points, I should put them in the comments below or in the description below. It's very hard to do these videos. In fact, you look at that car over there, you see the instructor again out looking at the wheel. That is a classic driving instructor problem. His pupil's just gone right at the curb and nearly ripped the tyre. That's just what I was saying before about, don't worry about dry steering a bit. I'm sure that instructor would rather they did that than smash it at the curb. Anyway, good example there, wasn't it? Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, I've probably forgotten a couple of things because these videos I just make when I get time. I wasn't expecting to have today off. One of my people's cancelled because they were ill. And I just had to come out and do this video. I thought, great, a chance to get a video done. So there may be things I've forgotten to say, or I haven't gone over in great detail. If you want me to clarify any points, let me know in the comments below, and I will. What I'm trying to get across with this video is that there is no one way of doing it. You don't have to do gas clutch, you don't have to do just clutch. When people say my method's right and your method's wrong, there isn't really a right and a wrong. As long as you achieve the end result, it doesn't matter, as I've demonstrated with those examples from examiners. It doesn't matter how you do it, so long as it's safe, legal and convenient. If you can't get around your 3, take another couple of goes. If you go forward, back, and you're going forwards and you think, well, actually I can't get out in 3, go backwards again, turn left, go forwards again and turn right. You simply repeat the second and third parts of the manoeuvre. Again, you do need to practice this skill. You can't learn how to drive just from watching a video, so this is meant to complement and supplement your lessons. It's not a replacement for lessons. People ask me, why do you make these videos? Aren't you going to do yourself out of a job? Well, no, because you can't learn to drive just from watching videos, but they are meant to help you out and maybe help save some time and money. So please subscribe to my videos if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed. I am going to soon be making exclusive content for subscribers, and I will be having probably a weekly newsletter or something come out, so people who subscribe do get something for subscribing. But yeah, let me know any questions, any comments. I will do more of this, but I haven't had a lot of spare time today. This was unplanned. I just came out and got it done as best as I could without planning it. So I hope that helped you a little bit. Hope you like the funny parts of the video, and I'll see you again soon for more videos. This speed's good. Oh, someone's just going on there, turning the road. That's a really bad place for turning the road. Yeah, that's a stupid place to be doing on there. That's good for trouble. Quite close to the second lamppost would be good, because this we're going to do a 3-point turn. And then that's good looking out the left shoulder. Why look there, not in the mirror? Because a lot of people look in the mirror. Yep. So look at the mirror as well, it's not quite such a big view. As I said, this van might come around now and get in the way. Even on a quiet road you get stuck around here. So quick. Looking at the right shoulder now. So looking left and right, is anyone around?
Yeah, well,
yep. So into reverse, for example, should be pretty good. I shouldn't bother doing a turn. That's it, and then looking around, anyone behind.
And this one, take it on someone, sorry, it's not your fault. Anyway, it's alright,